Hey everybody, Miss Lieberman here, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Earth Day. So Earth Day is on Thursday, April 22nd, which is next week, and I wanted to show you guys some things that we can do to help protect our Earth. That's the whole point of Earth Day, is trying to figure out ways that we can help save our Earth and protect our Earth, because it's where we live, and we want it to stay safe and healthy for us for many years to come. All right, so Earth Day. When we think about Earth Day, there are three things that we can really remember to help us help our Earth. And those are the three R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. When we reduce something, it means that we're using less. So you can always reduce the amount of lights that you use. So if you're not in a room, turn off the light. If you are in the room and it's daytime, turn off the light. And then we can use less paper towels. So when you're done washing your hands, instead of grabbing a whole bunch, try to just use one. Better yet, do that every time. All right, and then you can reuse something, which means to use again. So when we go grocery shopping, or when we go to any store like Walmart, Target, anywhere, use a reusable grocery bag. So that's like one of those cloth bags that you see. I know Mark sells them right by the registers. Or you can reuse a cup or a water bottle. So you'll see here that I have a reusable water bottle. So instead of grabbing a new plastic bottle filled with water every time, I refill this one and reuse it over and over again. Same with my coffee cup. And the last of the three R's is recycle. And I'm sure you've heard of this one. Recycling means to put a product to a new use. So you can recycle things like paper and plastic and aluminum cans. And when you recycle them, you put them in a special can that says recycle, and they take it to a recycling facility where they turn it into a new product. So a lot of the times we'll see things that have recycled material in them, which means that they're using a product again. Okay, so something that I really wanted to share with you guys today is one of my favorite stories that's all about Earth Day, and you've probably heard it. It's by Dr. Seuss, and the story is called The Lorax. So let's go ahead and share my screen so we can watch the Lorax and hear the story together. And then next week on Earth Day, if you come to my Zoom channel, you're going to be able to watch the movie with me. All right, so I'm going to read the story for us today. And turn on your listening ears, and here we go. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on the top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on a special dank midnight in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail in the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, then makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grovulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper, mophone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Sloop! Down slips the whisper mophone to your ear, and the onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through the snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swoomy swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place. And I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees, I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloo suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while they are splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my day I've been searching for these, trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I built a small shop. I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillfully skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped down just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses. Yeah, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers, for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just as that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what someone will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up if you please. Not very nice. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to the north niche, turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We are building the Thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, now my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. Taking all the trees, guys. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making Thneeds 4 times as fast as before. And that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He looks pretty mad. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloo suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow. I meant no harm. I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger. So bigger I got. I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered the loads of the Thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. It's a pretty big factory. I went on biggering, selling more Thneeds. I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax. He coughed and he liffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snarled. He sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a cruffulous croak. Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swomy swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in their throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to oceans from the smog. You've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about this gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making glippity-glup, also schluppity-schlup. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old once-ler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary and the search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. And all you do is yap, yap, and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm biggering, and biggering, and biggering, and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped in their car and drove away under the smogulous smog. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks and the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Once-Lear, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Once-Lear. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack, Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. All right, so I just wanted to talk about a few things. So notice the beginning of the story when the Onceler first arrived, how many trees there were and how much life there was there with all the animals, and the water was so blue and the sky was so blue and everyone was happy. But once the Onceler started to take down the trees, the animals couldn't survive there anymore, so they had to leave. The environment quickly changed. The sky turned gross with the smog because there was no trees there to purify the air and give new oxygen for the animals. So if you ever can have the chance, try to plant a tree. The trees are great for the earth and for the environment and for animals and for us. Without trees, we wouldn't be able to survive because they're the things that are purifying the oxygen for us. All right, guys, remember to come on Thursday, April 22nd for the movie night. Bye.